Welcome to the Lean Practice Podcast. I'm Angus, joined with Aaron and Nathan, and the idea here is pretty simple. It's three of us just talking about the profession, what's working, what's not, and what's not being spoken about but probably should be. Between us, we've seen bullshit advice that's causing chiros to quit the profession by the time they're 40, and we'd like to just help put an end to that. We aren't really in this to tell you what to do, how to do it, or what the best playbook is. We're here to just show you what it actually looks like to build a practice around the life that you want, rather than the one someone else drew up for you. That's really it. Let's get into it.
So I got a little more context this week on what we spoke about last week about the shit post that made no sense. I actually spoke to someone internally who had done more work with someone, and it gave me the glaringly obvious what's happened. So what's going on is a coach who wants to help, which is a great intention. It realizes that with their degree, they don't have the training to run an online course. So they go and seek an online course coaching trainer guy or girl. Then what happens is they just copy the framework that the coach teaches them and then tries to apply it to the person. So the whole joke of like the pyramid scheme of coaching, I think this is where it comes from, where it's just like people are just copying copies of copies. And unfortunately, that gets to a point, and where it breaks is when it goes from a different business model down. So from an online course, I'll teach you how to build a practice with my online course skills. And then all of a sudden you fall into this thing that doesn't apply. So it's a context collapse. And basically it's because of the coach regurgitating what they've been taught for a different business model, which you just simply can't apply to yours. So where I realized this was I've been talking about like niches and all the content and the product building, like all the stuff I've touched on. And I was chatting to someone and he's like, I've got all this stuff. And one of the big things in like sales and processes is like the naming conventions. So you remember those pressure point things that we did a while ago? I'm not sure if you ever got to it, but so basically like you know your avatar, and then you kind of know like what their pressure points are, and you push on them, and that's how you get them to move. So for a chiro, it's usually like new patient, not enough new patient flow, retention, and then conversion. They're like the three pressure points. And if I was like, I'll teach you how to double your new patient flow, increase your retention by 200%, and triple your conversion rate, everyone's like, sweet. So what they do is they like name them. So they might be like the effortless sales process, that sort of stuff.
And
that's
you always put the little trademark on top, right? You got to have the trademark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he sent me his, and when I read these, I was like, no fucking wonder this isn't working, because like the guy had clearly done these things in his online course. And now he's trying to teach chiros to do these things. But if I sat down with you and I said this, all right, we've got these are the phases that we're going to go through. We're going to do a discovery session, recovery roadmap, exercise. Then we're going to learn, reset, rebuild, and get the result. That's like our path of advance, right? So far, not the best, not the worst. So that's like the phases that we move through. So discovery session. Yeah, it's like instead of saying new patient Roth, he's naming them something fancier, right? Then it's like, okay, let's go into these things. All right, of reset, what's included in that is a 4-week brain body reset accelerator and a power up protocol. Can you smell the bullshit? This is like naming conventions to make something sound more desirable, push on the pain point and make it better. But if you sit there and you say it in context to where we do it, it's fucking bullshit. That it's where this is all getting lost and falling down. Rebuild had like foundational rebuild, bounce back blueprint, recover like a pro. It's just like, this is where it's all going wrong. And you see all this marketing online, and that's all usually online coaches teaching online coaches. The context collapse is where it's going from an online coach, which the model works there, but then they're trying to apply it to a practice. Yeah. And it's like the offer doesn't translate. And that's why you might do these courses, pay a lot of money. It's all the right information, but the context lacks. And then you end up with these things that just don't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. It's like everyone's forgotten that we're brick and mortar. It's like everyone's racing to get a million followers and forgetting that they don't need that. And they just need people face down on their table, right? It's a hard one to, I get it. I was gonna say it's a hard one to understand, but no, I do understand, because everyone's trying to figure it out and they think everyone else has the answer. And we're two people that coach people. Obviously we have the answer. Smile, nod, wink.
Obviously.
But yeah, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking behind a microphone. It's not like you can just do whatever you want. But I've worked with some great people with great answers, and I've worked with some people where you can tell it's like you're in French class and they're just one chapter ahead. Like, when you try and pull at the seams, you're like, what about this? And you're like, oh, there's a gap. There's a big old gap there. But I don't think the post has come up yet. I've just programmed a post that I did and it was talking about the report of findings. I was like, most chiropractors, they go through all the results, the scans, they say some fancy words they learn at uni, they explain all these high conceptual things, and the patient hears none of it, walks out, and by the time they're in the car, they're like, I have no idea what just happened. And then they don't convert and they don't report. And really, it's just all about, here's what it is, here's what it means for you. It's like you have to be a translator. You have to go from, you have facetogenic L4-5 pain, which is causing inflammation, and it's like, which means that your low back just isn't handling load well. So when you deadlift, if you get out of form, you basically just put pressure on it and starts to hurt. And so what we need to do is make that move properly, get you out of the inflammation, and then give you some more strength to hold that position. And then you can deadlift more and it will feel good. It's just like we forget that Martin Harvey often called it the curse of knowledge. We assume that whatever we know, everyone else must know. And you'd be shocked how many of your patients still don't even know what a foam roller is. Just like, you got a foam roller at home? They're like, what's that? I'm like, circular piece of foam, you lie on it. They're like, never heard of it. Really? Okay, fuck me, eh? And so we often just have to go more basic than we think, but it's the same goes. I'm going to say it again. I think I'm probably saying this every episode, right? Like, growing a practice is simple, it's just not easy. Communicating to humans is simple, it's just not easy. And everyone wants to make it complicated and then wonder why it doesn't work. And can we be surprised do you think, and actually I already think I know the answer to this, but I want to put it back at you. Do you just think this is people trying to take the advice, as we spoke about before, of the Hermosis in the world and put it on the wrong business model? Is that just what we're seeing?
Yeah, well, I think you said it pretty well there too. If you, in our version, which would make sense, is like you trying to teach what your lecturer taught you to your patients. It's like, that doesn't work. It's a different thing. So it's the same thing. It's like these people who are highly contextual and understand that business model and how you need to learn it and what the process is. But your job as the teacher is to make that applicable to your students. So yeah, I think that's all it is. It's not being aware enough to change it to your audience. And that's where it falls down. And then in practice, what that looks like is patients who are just utterly confused. In business models, and what we're seeing is that it's owners who are like utterly confused. And it's like, you know that it's the right stuff, but it's just not clicking. That's probably how you can tell that it's not been translated properly and that maybe they're not the guy or girl that you probably should be continuing to invest in. Pick the parts, but don't adopt the whole thing potentially.
Like, one addition to that, I think people do need to understand is there's a difference between being over complex and you just not being good at it yet. So like, anytime you change a process, whether it's the format or the communication of your initial, your report, your re-exam, it's going to feel gross and clunky when you adapt a framework, right?
Yeah.
Particularly if you're doing scripts. But like, even in a framework, if you've done something one way for a long time, it's like, I'm having to retrain my bench press with my first powerlifting coach. And he's like, we're going to do bench press. We're going to need some time. I'm like, time? I know how to bench press, mate. Turns out I didn't know how to bench press. Like, we spent 90 minutes just retraining what should be a simple movement, but for a specific ideal. And I felt really clunky with it. And I lifted far less weight initially, but it set the framework. This is what happens when you are getting coached and you start making changes. You do have to persist a bit for a while. But what you're talking about is not, you're almost like over making things too complex.
Yeah. I think it's just the whole Einstein thing. It's like, if you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you don't understand yourself. And I think that's what we've caught with these posts recently. It's like, they're talking the right thing, but they don't understand it enough themselves just yet.
Actually, one thing I want to drop in here before you're forward, because we shared another thing. I want to share a piece of social media post I saw in the last week that was fucking brilliant. And I hope you want to see it. That I can find it, but it's a plastic surgeon. You know what? I'm going to bring it up I won't share it on screen, but I'm going to bring a name up so I can get this, because I think yes, I am shouting out a plastic surgeon. I'm going to have chiropractors with pitchforks at my fucking door in a second, I'm sure, even though 3/4 of the members have had a bit of work. Her name is Dr. Marion Chan. Have you seen this?
No, how do you spell it?
Marinchan. It's got a lot of reposts. It is great content. And you know why? Because she's like, all you plastic bros better watch out. She's like, but before I do anything, I'm not actually allowed to tell you anything other than like breast. That's because of APRA rules, right? So it's like it's actually quite comical like take on the limitations of advertising, but it actually brings people on board. It's got a lot of reshares and posts from other colleagues, and even patients can be like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And like I'm in the process of building a version of it. I think it's great content. I'm very curious to hear your take on it once you've had a chance to look at it. But it's the
Which one
most
is it?
simple. It'll be. You know what? I'm just going to DM it to you. This is how easy we can do technology these days. It's going to be in the DMs.
I think I got it actually.
If we have the skills, we'll link it under this show. There we go. I'm putting it on Angus.
Hang on. I'm gonna listen to it.
He's going to listen to it. I'm going to live caption you listening at it.
I'm a plastic surgeon, and I'm going to steal all your patients by offering the best, which delivers incredible. Oh, right, I can't actually say anything with that. Let's try that again. I'm an Australian plastic surgeon, which means my content strategy is essentially that is a breast, this is also a breast. They're different. Unfortunately, I'm unable to elaborate any further.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make one.
I'm already on it. Like I honestly think it's like it's a different take.
Yeah.
I've seen a few people do it already, but it's very strain specific. Everyone, it's one of those ones that you can put on a professional page that's advertising at a patient, but you're also going to get a heap of love from the industry because they all go through it as well. And so they're going to share your content for you, which is going to make it better, and more patients are going to see it. Like, and again, what's the core thing here? It's super basic.
Yeah, it's authentic.
It's great chat. I mean, it probably just hits me right because I love a bit of banter. But this is the same. Like, I know we shout on a lot of stuff, but I think that's like we shout on it because people are trying to make these really complex bait and switch ideas. This person just gone, hey, I do this. I'm not allowed to tell you a bunch of stuff. I think one at the end, like she has a picture of her like support staff, and they're like, please like and follow because she wants to be famous. Just like I was like, everything about this, big plus.
Yeah, it's just personality. Hey, personality in a healthcare practitioner is absolute, just everything. She's inconsistent though. Jesus. Anyway, this isn't what we were going to talk about. So let's get into the meat. We're going to build practices that we hate today.
That's right.
Just for some fun. So
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Okay. So we've wiped out North Fremantle Chiropractic. Doesn't exist. You have to restart in. Where do you want to restart? Pick somewhere.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to restart based on the project we did for uni 14 years ago. We're going to be in Emu Park, Queensland.
Emu Park. Oh my. Okay. So you're going to be in Emu Park. You've got no social media presence. You've got nothing. You're looking for a space. You haven't even named it yet. We're going to build a practice that you will hate to walk into every single day and one that you're begging to get out of so you can do a 3-day week. Sound good?
Sound good.
We're going to starting off with, we've got Emu Park. Boom. Done. What's the sort of space that you're looking at to rent?
I reckon I want something that's not on ground level because I want to make people that already have back injury, and I don't want there to be an elevator. I want back injury people coming upstairs. It sounds like ideal because, you got to get some fitness in. I think I want a space that has no capacity for change. So I'm going to do a bunch of fit out, but if I ever want to add staff, that's not an option. I'm going to have to just waste that money and move on. So I reckon I want a pointy little space. It's awkward to get her into and around. What else going on through here? I want there to be absolutely no natural light. Zero.
Yeah, beautiful.
Like,
yeah.
In fact, we're gonna do it in the dark. You know what? Getting through here. I know I'm getting facetious now, but like
I'll give you some of my thoughts. I was thinking shopping center, internal.
Good one.
Fluorescent lights, as you were saying then. I'm going big space, too big, 6 or 7 treatment rooms. But it's just me to start off with. And I'm going to sign myself up to, those shopping center rates as well. 5-year lease, absolutely crushing debt. And
no option to buy.
Open 7 days. No option to buy. Have to be open 7 days a week because that's the shopping center's hours.
The rules.
And what I'm actually going to do before I even start, like I'll get a full fit out. So what I'm thinking is X-ray machine. I'm going to buy one, install it myself. Actually, I don't know if that works in shopping centers, but anyway, I'm going to do it. Then big reception area, just massive. Enough room for 2 CAs because we're going to need both of those to start off with.
Yeah, might need 3.
Potentially. We'll see. So yeah, that's my starting point. Massive, big, expensive fit out, big lease that I can't get out of. That would be ideal. Yeah. Really like that. I
Sounds
like the
good.
stairs idea too, though. Hard to
Yeah.
get to is cherry on top.
Yeah, one of those like you're in a shopping center, but you're on that like second or third floor, so no
Yeah.
one can actually see you. So the advantage of the shopping center in terms of foot traffic is null and void.
Yeah. And then big, expensive signage. You know, you have to like cover all the glass. I'm going to go with that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
I
that's
like
a good
that.
idea.
I like that. Maybe even get like one of those giant balloons on your roof.
Yeah. I'm going to pay the extra and get on the shopping center sign out front, get my name on that. You know, those things out front. Yeah.
That is a valuable addition to your business.
Beautiful. Then,
All right.
next thing, the model. How are you going to practice?
Yeah, I was saying, I think very simple model. Everyone gets exactly the same thing, so I don't have to think about it. Or I'm going to go the complete opposite, and everyone gets something so individualized that I can't keep track of it. I'm gonna flip between it. I'm gonna have no consistency, and so
I was stuck on that
way
too because I was like, I don't know what's worse. I actually don't genuinely know what's worse there.
Yeah, I'm real because I don't like. It's not about high or low volume. Either both are like fine, both work. I don't care, but I think it's trying to run for both at the same time.
Yeah,
is the worst. It's because it's one of the cornerstones of. I don't want to jump ahead here of a good practice is that your CA should almost know the languaging you're going to use. Obviously, everything's individualized, but you use consistent language so that they know what's been said roughly to a patient, so they know if you have a CA how they're going to communicate with them. And they're there. If you're just every time you're like, you basically I just assume that everything over in the eastern states is backwards. But did you have Leonards growing up? Do you know what a Leonards is?
Are you kidding me? How's everything backwards on this side? You guys are the ones in the middle of fucking nowhere. You're the most isolated city in the world.
Yeah, with the best shit. Don't like
you're the backwards one, buddy.
Now, you remember what happened in COVID? We just shut you guys out and had a great time. There was legitimate calls to see if we could put a split in there and just become our own country.
Build the wall.
Anyway, the point of this was, did you have a Leonards?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, we had Leonards.
So for anyone who doesn't know what Leonards is, it's a chicken store. They sell chicken. And I don't mean like chickens to take home, like cute chickens that can lay eggs. Like, I'm talking drumsticks.
Not KFC chicken either. Like,
it's a butcher, but only does
like
chicken.
Chicken butcher.
But they are renowned for having the wheel. Remember the wheel? Because over here, everyone had you could spin the wheel and win like things. So almost every Leonards would you could get a token for it in Western Australia at least. You could spin the wheel and you might get like 4 tenderloins. You get all sorts of stuff. That is for me what these practices become like. It's every patient walks in, you spin the wheel and it's like once a week for 4 weeks. And the next one's it's like 3 times a week for 12 weeks. And the front desk are like, why? ¿Por qué? I don't know what's going on.
If you're wondering, Leonards isn't around anymore. So probably inside into it.
Too much free chicken. Too much spinning the wheel. But I think that this is a really hard one. You know what? I think I have the answer. I'm going to pick someone else's model. I'm going to get a coach or I'm going to get my previous principal. I'm just going to do exactly what I did there, especially if I left that business because I wasn't enjoying it.
Yeah. Okay, you go down that path. Go with thinking of it holistically. So my break-even point now, because we've got this big expensive practice, is 100 visits a week. So straight away, before I even pay myself, I've got to get past that mountain. So to do that, I'm going to be disorganized and do spin the wheel and just as they come in, that's going to do it for me. I like that one.
Are you going to tell yourself though you're just meeting people where they're at, so you feel good about it?
Yeah, man. I'm here to help people. That's it.
Yeah,
and I'm just
had a big wallet,
what I do.
So I'm helping him more.
Yeah. So it's going to be my treatment's actually not different at all. It's just the fact that I don't plan and schedule. So I still do the same adjustments and stuff. I don't have progress exams, anything like that. I'm a big family wellness kind of guy, just everyone, no niche at all. And the space just isn't really, it's just set up. It's sterile, white, and there's just even though I call myself a wellness and family practice, doesn't feel like a home at all.
No kid stuff. There's no, and the music's probably day sparry, so it's just putting everyone to sleep and awkward.
Oh, free Spotify. Yeah.
I'm going to assume you have a large fish tank in there somewhere.
It's pretty much, it's the dentist office out of Nemo. That's what I'm doing.
All right, I love it.
View of the harbour. Yeah. So I've got no structure because I don't want to do that. I don't like selling stuff. So then I just sell different things every visit instead. That's much better. And then you compound that by the fact that I need to get past 100 people a week, which just makes my life So much easier.
Good. I love it.
Yeah. So that's the model I'm going to go with. Then growth strategy. So you know how you're going to practice, you know where you're going to practice, how you're going to grow this bad boy.
I'm just going to start a social media, but I'm not going to post anything. I'm just going to run ads, just non-stop ads, like probably low cost ads, like $29 initials, because I've just got to get that 100 visits in, and then I'll try and sell heavy on the back end. Obviously, I'm going to run Google ads as well, even though I don't have anything set up. And then I'm just going to, I've paid for some expensive signage. I'm just going to sit there and wait for people to come.
Yeah. Nice. So your marketing strategy is do the more expensive stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to spend more money.
Yeah.
That'll guarantee results.
Cool. So you'll be at about a 120, 130 break-even point by this stage.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you wait. I've got some new staff additions I need to make shortly.
Okay, cool. Okay, paid advertising? Yeah, I think I would agree. But I'd really go out of my way to make sure I don't understand what paid marketing is. So I get frustrated with my agency. Going to spend $3,500 on a website though.
Yeah, good.
Miss that one.
Good money.
That one's important. And then just make sure that I keep paying for ongoing website maintenance, even though websites aren't a thing that need maintaining. It's just what the guy told me.
I mean, we better not forget to not claim our Google My Business. Not claim, not necessary, unneeded.
A big part of my strategy is going to be AI on the front end. So I'm going to have calls, chatbots, texts, a couple of AI generated images for my posts on social media. Basically, what I want is I don't want to talk to anyone unless they're sitting there for a new patient exam and they've already prepaid for their consult and they're a high quality patient that wants to get on top of their health and be proactive about it. That's what I want, ideally, which I think is very realistic because I've defined what a high value, I know what a high quality patient is. I've designed the space for them and I've got such a strong presence online that they should know who I am before they come.
No, sounds good. I mean, there's no point in even trying to do any marketing within the center. It wouldn't make sense to stand out there and just talk to people. So I think that's a waste of my time below me. So we're going to go with the online strategy.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, because the best thing is when someone doesn't know who you are before they book, that's when it's really easy to sell. So I'm gonna go all out and then just make sure I'm paying for that traffic. That's the key. The more you pay, the better quality, right?
100%. And I think because it's going to go so well, we're going to need staff from the get-go. Right.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to.
I'm going to need. I'm going to need a CA, like at least one. I reckon but we'll probably have two pretty quickly. Maybe need two just because we're going to do so many hours because we're going to be so busy. Obviously with the shopping center as well, you got 7 days a week, so we need to staff that. And because I believe in scaling and positive thinking, because you just got to think to grow rich. I read that book, and so I am just going to hire like 4 associates from the jump. I think. Oof. Someone did say about like just renting the rooms out, but I want to have control of the people in my practice because you got to be part of my team. I don't want people just doing their own thing there, and I don't want complementary services. We're a chiropractic clinic, so we can have like 5 of us all growing at the same time. We're going to be a great team. Nice. We're all going to support each other. Yeah, because culture is the important thing. Hey, yeah, cool. But I'm going to put them on as employees because that's less risk. Beautiful. So how many did you say you're going to have? 3? Well, let's start with 2. We're going 4. We're going 4. Oh, fuck. Okay. Actually, no, I'm wrong. We've got 8 rooms. We'll go with it. So it's going to be me plus 3 because we need 2 rooms each. Okay. Do you want massage therapists and stuff like that, or are you good? No. That's like they don't generate as much revenue from the floor space. Fair enough. Yeah, because your capacity, right? Like your capacity is probably like 1,500 visits a week. Days. So yeah, beautiful. So okay, and what's the base salary going to be of these practitioners? I mean, listen, we want to generate like 18 players. So base salary will be basically $1,000 a year. The award, the lowest. Beautiful. For the 8 players. Cool. Because they get they get all my support because I'm going to have a lot of free time. Okay, hang on, I'm just doing the math. So 80K, you've got 4 associates plus yourself. How much are you paying yourself? Oh, listen, obviously I'm going to be taking home like 5K a week just to start. And then obviously I expect that this is going to be worth 10 million pretty quickly. So I'll be taking home like 20K a week. Okay, cool. So you're probably going to need another 300. We're at 620,000 for the year, just in wages. Yep. How much are you charging per visit? Yeah, we're going to go top line. So probably like 65. Yep. Beautiful. 50. Sweet. So at 190 visits a week, you'll be break even, paying all those guys and yourself. That's not including the 100. We're not including all the other like debt, taxation, and everything else, of course.
No, that's not got the setup fee of the rent and the X-ray machine, and you're probably going to be 1.5 million in can per year. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, easy. That's small change
but you know what? You're $1 million practice, man. Good on you. Yeah,
from the jump.
nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you've got a huge practice. You fill the rooms with associates. They're not full yet. You're going to do paid marketing to fill that. Now, your team. You've mentioned one CA, five chiros, one CA, 7 days a week.
No. It's got to be two. It's got to be two. It's got to be at least two. I mean, you probably got
Okay.
3 to 4 by the time you like, you got a real busy shift there. Yeah, and you're open for what it sounds like probably 80 hours a week. So we probably need 4 full-timers.
Yeah, cool. And then the sales process. Are you going individual visit? Where you
Oh, I think most people want to prepay. So we if you don't prepay for the full lot, you don't start.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so hardliner.
Yeah. People have to know it's for their
Fuck
best
yeah.
interest.
That's so good. Yeah, cool. What are you going to call this thing?
Your health in
My
my
health and
hands. I
wellness?
don't know.
Yeah, nice.
But
Oh, man.
the number one thing, of course, will be my branding. And so my logo will definitely, it's going to be just a normal little spine swiggle because no one else has ever used that.
Yeah, I like that. That is pretty good. The dots, make it a dot.
Yeah. And we'll have a tagline that's like maximizing your existence.
On Earth. Yeah. Awesome. So that sounds pretty good. So you're going to sell someone else's business. So you're going to go do an online an online course. Just copy the coach's model. It's just going to make sure it's a hardline, high volume, low fee. So $65, obviously. We're just going really low, but you make up for that lifetime value by just doing an insane amount of visits to cover the baseline costs, which is about 1.5 million a year in expenses. Nice. And then you got a massive staff to manage as well. So you're sort of touching 6 or 7 staff members there. So you've got about 54 to 60 something relationships to manage in the one building. All your associates are employees. So I can imagine if you somehow manage to grow all of them with your paid marketing, they're going to be pretty happy to just keep making 65 grand a year if they're seeing 100 visits a week. Yeah.
Of course.
Are you going to do any sort of commission structure?
I think they have to earn that. So
Yeah.
we can talk about that in a year.
Yeah, cool. Minimum contracts?
Oh, listen, obviously, bearing in mind there's no enforceability on that, but yeah, I expect they're going to be here for at least 3 years.
Okay, cool. So put a hardline 3 years, terrible pay. They've got to earn them more money, but it's undefined. Largely getting above break even is going to take you an enormous amount of work. You've locked yourself into a contract in a building that has no natural light. It's got a crazy lease. You've had to fit it out yourself. You got to be there every day. You need paid advertising because you've got so many staff members who are all on employee contracts. So if you don't get past that break-even visit, you're losing a 1.5 million a year straight away. You're going to use basic logos, basic names. It's all about wellness. You've got no niche, and you're going to sell the care plans that someone told you to sell. So there's no authenticity in there at all either. Nice. That'd be the practice you'd hate to work in the most.
I have just general anxiety about thinking about this. I've gone as hard as possible on the counter of what I would like to do. But can you imagine, just thinking about being in that, as an owner, especially if someone who's owning practice, who's seen costs and everything right now, the thought of anything about that, I mean, just the space alone makes me not want to step in it already. The thought of going that hard, that fast, and this is an extreme, obviously, this is the most extreme. We're having fun with this. But I've seen examples that aren't that far from it.
When I just summarize that, that's actually not, that's almost the practice that people celebrate. Oh, I've got a team of 7, and it's like, oof.
And again, of course, if you built that over 20, 30 years, it's a whole different story. I think the thing in my heart that's going here, because I'm like, how quick do this fail? So I'm like, 3 months, maybe. The craziest thing about that is that owner would have had to sign a significant sign on with a shopping center. They don't let you go. So even if you bankrupted that thing, you're still probably, or you shut that down, you're still up for probably that whole rent, which that rent's probably $250,000 a year for the next 10 years, unless someone else takes that space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. Hey. And it all really, all jokes aside, the lease and the huge space and the growing into the potential of it, cool, I get it. But why put yourself on the back foot so quickly? You know, like I know a lot of people aren't going to hire 4 associates at the get-go,
Yeah.
but people seem to break even on their lease, and then the work required to break even on the lease almost gets them to the capacity that they need to hire an associate. And then it's like that's almost like another version of the double blow. It's like lease and associate. Ouch.
Like everyone, we know this because it's constantly said online. Everyone's seeming goal of being an owner in a practice is to work like 2 to 3 days a week. If your practice is set up that way, you can't do that ever. Or you would need like
No.
5 maxed out associates to have enough capacity in order for you to have that, because you're the owner, you just have to be in there eating the overheads to make it even stay open.
Yeah, man. And you're not going to get 5 associates who are happy in that model either. Then you're dealing with associates who just want more and more naturally. So your job then becomes eating expenses and dealing with your own staff.
Yeah. And by definition, because you have to deal with stuff so much, you don't have time to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you would end up 3 hours just to manage the business. So there's
Yeah.
everything about that. And listen, I would go the same way, like even if you took a really pokey, awkward space that had no ability to expand, no to that, it was low thing. But I would say like beyond that, all the marketing and stuff there is still the problem. Yeah, that we made biggest example. Even if you went the smallest example, I think you're still going to see like you have more timeline, but I think you would cap so quickly that you stopped enjoying it as well. And then you have this like issue with now I need to find a move and do all this again, but that's too much. So like this example, the big is probably the most dangerous for just, I mean, you're ruining multiple careers potentially in there and just all these things. But even doing the small pokey version, I think is just puts a person at a risk of just not enjoying it and thinking the problem is the industry, or just being held back and wasting a lot of time because they're afraid that, oh, what happens if I do make this bigger change? Which leads to,
and it's a good point to make.
so like I think I was saying it leads to, so what's the opposite? Like what would we want to do?
Yeah, before we go to that, because I do want to touch on that small one, because I do work with people who are in that boat.
Yeah.
So they do get the small space, but then they can't get past 20 or 30 visits. And it's like, that's a different type of tool truck because it feels so much more attainable. But I think at that point, it's like I think you're aware that you can't afford marketing, like you don't have the revenue. So you're like, I can't, which to me is like, necessarily it says I can outsource stuff because I have high revenue. Then, so if you take that mindset into a small practice, you quickly realize you can't, and you feel like you've got no options.
You feel trapped. I always like to use this caveat these days because 20 to 30 a week in a practice that is set up properly and has a capacity cap of 35, 40, like a low volume, high cost model, that's fine. It's like being trapped at 20 to 30 a week when your model is built for 100. Anything that's under 30% capacity for their model is the problem, right?
Yeah.
And so like,
and
I know
interesting point there.
I know a practitioner
is the
Yeah, go
cost.
for it.
The interesting point there is the cost. So if you are doing that lower volume model, you don't run the $65 visit. It doesn't work.
It's probably $200, give or take.
Mm.
And that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I know a number of practitioners who do that. Like it's a high cost, low volume model, but they work with a very specific niche. That's what they want. And so it can work really well. And I think the most like important part of this exercise for people is understanding that at both ends there's a problem, and taking
Exactly.
the wrong mindset for either side is not going to work. And probably the biggest thing is most of these models are still based on what you saw. So like I find a lot of the pokey, problematic small models are from people that went straight from university, never worked in anything, never really spent any time in practices before, like or during, and went, I'm just going to base it on what I did in student clinic. And then the other have worked in often bigger wellness clinics, often haven't enjoyed it, but that's all they know. And then they're like, well, I just didn't enjoy it because I wasn't the owner. Now I need to do it.
Yeah.
And they haven't actually taken stock. Yeah, they just never take stock of, well, what was it about it I didn't like? And I think that's things, you never lose, you learn, right? I worked in a certain practices overseas that shall remain nameless, which was a traditional high volume model. And I did it for a while. I enjoyed aspects, didn't enjoy a lot of it. And so when I still use aspects of that in my practice, which is more some of the communication strategies and things like that. But I didn't like the model. but it was great because it told me what I didn't like and I could take the things I didn't. The whole point of being an associate is learning and developing and getting the things you like, because no one's model should be that. Even my associates probably would do things slightly different to the way my practice is set up, because it's set up how I like to do things. No one is ever going to be exactly the same as you. That's why, like, I always laugh at people, like when people are looking for the best CRM, no, like, there is no best one, because everyone's practices are going to be a little bit different, have different requirements. You just got to get the one that's sort of like generally best for how you do things. And as an associate, you need to go into practice that is generally closest in many ways to what you want to do. Or if you really want to challenge yourself, go into something that maybe is the counter opposite and see if you don't know yet and you're willing to change your mind.
Yeah, you just can't be a passenger. I think that's it. You go through uni and then you go out and you think you can do it, but you've got so many skills that you don't know you didn't have. But then as an associate, it's the same thing. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, you're a good chiro, but you don't know. Patients don't just appear in your door like that. That's not a thing. So yeah, it's that passenger mindset. So then if we did flip this and say you were back in Emu Park, you're going to do it yourself. It's like, because I don't think people believe this, because I know what we're going to talk about. I spoke to someone yesterday and I don't think that they believe they want to move to Sydney. And they're like, mate, I don't think, like what I've said on the past in uni and online and stuff, where it's like you just get a small space for 14 visits a week, you cover your overheads. At 35 visits a week, you pay yourself. At 50, you bring it in like 200K. And it's like, they just can't, they think that's a lie. And I get it, because I probably would think the same thing until I've seen it. And we've done it so many times. So I think this more than anything is just to explain that it can be done, because I don't know what it's like over in Perth, but there's like, you would have heard this, like in Sydney in particular, I've heard, I'm sure Melbourne's probably the same, but like inner city practices are harder to grow a practice than like rural. That's like the general thing.
That's standard.
I think the answer to that is, it's hard to grow those big, heavy, fat practices for sure. Like they're really difficult. Different demographic, different mindset. People have shorter time frames. They've got B places, that sort of stuff. Yes, they've got more money, potentially, maybe, but they've also got more pressure on their time and their money going to other spaces as well. So yeah, the big heavy practice doesn't work. You know, you want to come over here and open up a 4-bedder, convert a house into a practice thing, probably looking at a couple of $1 million before that even happens. However, the amount of spaces like the one I'm in right now is just a room inside of another group of spaces for $500 a week. And I think this is like a 1-year lease. And like I can continue on as like that's like power, everything included. So it's like that's 4 or 5 visits a week covered at $100 a visit.
Easy.
Yeah. So if we were to go down that route now, just to sort of give people the more realistic what it would look like, you're in Emu Plains. What are you looking for? It's just you're starting up. What have you got? What are you going to do?
Yeah. So I want simple, probably a little unit of a space. Obviously, there's some decisions you need to think about early on about, again, whether you ever do want support staff and stuff like that. But if I look at, I'm probably wanting anywhere from ideal world, like if it's just me, 40 to 50 squares up to, depending on price, around 100 squares and also structure. Yeah. Because in a lot of these places, you might get a good deal on a space for like a bit extra space, but not much more. But within that, I can do a lot, right? And ideally, I would want sort of rectangular long space where I could potentially close off some of the back space if I didn't need it yet, so that I don't have to pay to fit it out immediately. I want the space to develop. I want an ability to develop the space as I grow. So I want a simple, easy ability to fit out, or I want it's fitted out to a point of where I just have to more paint it and make it pretty. I want there to be some natural light. I want to obviously there to be able to, I can convert if I have to convert the lights inside as well, but I want there to be windows and actual light, right? Through there. I do not care if it's on a major walkway. Street frontage is not what people think it is anymore. Like the value of street frontage is it makes it easier for people to find you when they're already arriving to come in to book in. So I want to clear that there. So I want 50 to 100 squares. If it's smaller, I'm going to do what I do in my practice, make a more open plan. If it's bigger, I might have more like theoretical closed room, depending on how you want to practice, right? So depending on whether you are longer appointments, you want to be running across a couple of tables. I am going to use like secondhand is fine, even with tables, as long as they're good tables. But like if you want to, like I bought 2 brand new Omnis. That was what I spent. Like I opened my practice on 30 grand. I dropped 15 of that on tables because they are the thing that pays me. Like I have a simple rule. I will spend good money on the thing that makes me money, and your tables make you money. But if I didn't have that, I worked off portables. You can have a portable table temporarily in a practice. It's no problem. So it depends what you've got.
Yeah, I think that's
you
right.
can upgrade that.
And your patients like that. Like if you start with a portable table for 6 months and then you get a proper one, they're gonna love it because they're gonna be like, oh my god, you're investing in yourself. I think when I'm looking for a space, it's first of all, think where you want to be for like 5 years, area wise. That doesn't mean you need to be in the building that you're in. But if you can build a loyal community I'm in Brookvale, if I just got this place to a point where I was like, I need more space, I need a CA, whatever. Then it's like, make sure there's other spaces in Brookvale that you could potentially go and upgrade into. People will probably come across with you. Like, it's not that big of a deal. If you get the suburb wrong, that's probably a different combo. Like, you probably will get some more churn there. But if you just think broadly, this is where I want to be next 5 years. What's the cheapest one that's functional? Perfect. Let's start there. Get the portable table. Let's get the overheads to be less than $1,000 a week. We're laughing. And then grow that thing until it is bursting out the seams, and then go and find the next space.
Yeah, and just make it like simple, right? When I opened, I bought a I call it a front desk. It was probably a bar, really. It was made of pallets and had a beautiful Jarrah top off Marketplace for $350. And then I cut it down to size and put it back in. I used IKEA square furniture. I used gym tiles on the flooring, which I got from Bunnings at the time. Like, my actual fit out cost was like $2,000. And then I just had gaps because we were growing. What's the least amount of money I can spend? I mean, half the stuff, I got a pair of old lockers that I then spray painted black and set up. They're still there. We put all that stuff in them. So it's like, you really don't have to think about it. And this comes back to, I think we've talked about this and things I talked about a lot in the launch, like the profit first method. I distributed money around, and I only put money back into the practice for things we needed when there was money in what I called my business expenses account. Like, if the money wasn't there, and not just the money there momentarily, if it wasn't consistently there, then I didn't do anything new. And so it meant, and it's like, we're not at that point yet. And then we got, I remember one of the first things we bought was a mini fridge. And so we could put keep our lunches in that. And I was like, it was $200. And I was just like, I remember I was like speaking to my wife, I was like, do we get the mini fridge or do we get this? And she's like, you should do the mini fridge. Let's do it. And I remember buying it. It was like a whole celebration. Like, I wouldn't flinch on that kind of a cost right now. Back then, I had to consider it. And so, again, it's not that hard. Like, also, Marketplace, people are constantly getting rid of stuff at a fraction of the price. No one in your practice gives a shit about that, right? And they will grow and get excited with you. But it's like, you're not overspending on the fit out. Because a lot of the time, if you don't own the building, and I would highly if you can rent a space where you may have the potential to buy, that's another great thing if you like that space. Something to be considered.
Yeah.
When we rented, our landlord from day one was like, listen, we're hoping that you like this and you buy it off us within a couple of years. We did. I can say now, I wish I had a little more space, but also when we were hit by COVID, I'd only just opened, the overheads were so low that the fact we had to close for multiple weeks wasn't an issue. Whereas for a lot of people, they didn't get rent relief and got absolutely crushed. So simple space.
Simple space.
I designed
I think that's the biggest thing.
Work off 2 tables from day one because it was easier than introducing it later. I had basic furniture. And the only thing I really spent I think I spent a couple of grand on new computers and an iPad and tables. Everything else was simple or secondhand.
Yeah, man. And then
I'd also save the money for it.
The point I want to make on this one too is X-ray machines. If you're starting your practice, I know that there's this thing where people are like, oh, but you can make money back. Do you know how many X-ray facilities there are around you? There's probably 5 or 6 already. Just outsource it at the start. Even if you get a second-hand X-ray machine, $80K probably by the time it's in.
I've considered the idea. My practice couldn't handle it at the moment, too small. I like the idea of going bigger, but that was already from a place where you had a profitable business and going bigger. It's one of those things that's definitely and again, it also depends highly on your model, but it's definitely more of a nice than a need. It'd be nice, but do you need it? And for most of you, it's definitely a no, right? And I've got, don't get me wrong, dealing with X-ray places can be a nightmare at times, but we've got 4 within close proximity. We'll just send them out and don't deal with that. If the opportunity came in the future, I had the space, it was something I would consider. But I also think you're not in the business of selling X-rays, right? You then, when you often get an X-ray machine, then the people have to I can go over here and get it for free, but you want to charge me. So then you've got to sell why it's better to get it here or you have to comp it into the plans anyway, which means you're just paying on this thing. Like, I know you can do it, and you can't necessarily do it for other practices. So like, there's not really that option. There was a time where people could send to or other people and they could get like Medicare on it, and then they got revoked yonks ago. So you're not really getting other practices referring to you for x-rays either.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
because
the
I
same
think that's a
option as
nice.
like, go on.
It's like a nice caveat to the point of, oh, it's a thing that makes me money. Take it, so invest in it. But I actually think it's not, if I'm honest.
The x-ray. Yeah. I don't think it makes money to your care. Like the table is something like the tables I have will outlast me. I spent good money once, and I'm happy to do that. I don't need to upgrade them. I'll have to maintain them, but they will last my career. One and done. Simple, easy. And I really wanted them. So that was fine. But yeah, x-ray is different because it's not really enhancing your service. It's the same with like having supplements and stuff on hand. It's nice to have, but you're not making money out of it. The overheads aren't big enough. And it's an add-on, not a primary. This is where people lost. Suddenly you're trying to sell all these different things rather than just having your core service. And so you're actually distracting from the core service.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I see my gym does well is just like once a month, you just sign up. Like you just write your order out and then they just order it in bulk. So again, it's like they might get some kind of referral from the protein supplier, but at least they don't have hundreds of dollars worth of stock
sitting. Yeah. And
just
that's like, I've been trying to integrate my own practice. It's like, hey, if you let me know at this time each month, if we hit the volume, I'll order it and I'll give you an extra discount for ordering. I'll hold some stock in-house, but if you buy it in-house, it's full price. But if you're on that rotation, you let me know, so it's already pre-sold before I get it, I'm happy to hand it over. Yeah, I make less, but I actually make it rather than having it sitting on the shelf hoping it goes. Because I have seen,
exactly.
I've worked for practitioners that have stock that's coming up to code, and then suddenly they're recommending it to everyone. And I'm like, this is disingenuous. You just don't want to be left with a bill later, right? This person doesn't need it. You're just left in a point where you need to sell it.
Yeah, like right intention when you started, but that's naturally what's going to happen over time.
Yeah.
Cool. So then
we have our space.
Model. So we've got our space. What's the model? What are you looking at? And then when are you thinking of hiring staff?
So my model is going to be based on what I've experienced and what I like to do. I really feel like the simplest way to feel if your model is in alignment is like if you were to go see, like when you see one of your colleagues, what do they do that you like? If you practice 7.5-minute adjustments but you go see another colleague that does 30 minutes and you really like it, do you have to have a hard think about it? If you practice Gonstand but you only go see an activator chiro for your body, like what are you like doing? So you have to have learned. Yeah. So the model wise, like I consider my model like generally like low to mid, but my like current model is that I will see on average 2 to 3 every 15 minutes, 45 initial, 35 report, half an hour big re-exam, and I'll probably see 100 just over across 4 days. Most of those half days. Like that's where I'm at now. And I'll charge my current adjustment price is $80. And I will give options for people to do prepays or like do on membership type things if they so choose. But I won't necessarily force that party down there. So I have a simple, consistent model. I call it the 90% care plan in the launch. 90% of people are going to fall into one general care plan. You will individualize what you get them to do outside the office, but 90% of people are going to need the same volume care for the initial sort of block. And so for a lot of people, that might be twice a week for 4 weeks. And then you're going to have a group of people that need more. That's that's 5%, and a group of people that need less.
Yeah.
So you're going to have one of basic three through there. And then you individualize the add-on in terms of how you actually adjust them and how you give them whatever the style is. For me, it's programming. So that's going to be my general setup. Now, I'm going to be fully aware that may adapt over time. Start doing some needling. So be it. Add some longer appointments. No problem, bro. Like you want to do half an hour appointments. No problem. But for me, I'm going to have a setup. I like to work off a couple of tables. Just 2 is fine. 1, go to the other, just because it allows people to already have stuff out of pockets and to relax. And then we just move through. And then we have a lot of banter and a good amount of energy. And that's quite a happy medium for me. Like I obviously came from an era where like high volume was 300 to 500 a week. I mean, I've seen 300 a week. Wasn't for me. Definitely not for me these days. If I can see if I can do 100 across 3 days or like towards 120 across I should say shifts. If I can do 120 across 4 to 5 shifts or 100 off 3 to 4, happy days.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think the answer there is like the models more thought out in regard to the fact that you've taken parts from things that you've liked and then applied it to your practice. With the pricing, just curious on what you think here. I hear people all the time, they're like, oh, we're trying to increase our office visit average, whatever. Then they give out care, so they'll have a $70 visit standard, then they'll do a care plan at $65 visits. So they're trying to get their office visit average to 70, but they give away a discount at 65. Why wouldn't you do your care plans at 70 and your individual, like increase the cost of the individual
Of
pricing?
the pay as you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's generally the way you want to do it, right? So like when I first brought in care plan pricing as an option, I also tied it with an increase in price. So we took our $70 adjustment to an $80 adjustment under the pretense that we hadn't increased prices for way too long, which was true. So we made our regular adjustment go to 80. Our in care plan, so we had two options where people can do a monthly or a full. On the monthly, they still pay 80 on average. It's just they don't pay the extra for like, because your check-in's 90, 95, and a re-exam's 100. They didn't have to top off those amounts. So they just had it stayed as a flat 80. And then it was 72 on average for a prepay. Right? Then we're trying to get our memberships going. So memberships is like they just pay on the first of the month. It sits there in escrow. They can have it. And like this is one of the keys. People are like, you can't touch it. You can. If it's sitting there as a deposit, I will refund it with a drop of a hat, whatever's left. There's no force, and they can opt out anytime. Options, right? And it's never for longer than the amount of time. So it's only ever for maximum 4 visits in my memberships. So it's a monthly thing. So there's a one that's weekly, fortnightly, 3 weekly, and 4 weekly. They could stay on the old price at $70 if they were on the membership, or if they went to monthly at 73. And so a lot of people opted to just go pay the extra. But a lot of people came on, and those people are more consistent. So I was happy with that. And I am literally a month away from putting the prices up. This time they'll just go up by like $3. But all plans will also go up. But I'll probably do anyone who's currently on a plan, I'll grandfather you in. But if you come off that plan, you come back on, you will go to the new price. So some people may opt on. And again, it's more just opting people into consistency, which makes life easier for people. But yeah, I think people make the mistake when you look at your pricing, you should take what you want the average price to be, and then you should make that the base. Like you said. So it's like if I want my average cost per visit to be 70, well then my like per pay and everything should be 75, 80. And then that's the option. So my baseline is the 70.
Yeah. It's just giving away the discount because like as we both know, these $1 million practices are lucky to get a 10% profit margin and then they do 10% discounts. And it's like what's the thought process that so yeah, with pricing it's like discount up.
Yeah. I would think people like for those cases, people don't actually know what their profit margin is. You'd be shocked how many people have no idea about their numbers. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the same goes for like the initial. The initial is your most valuable appointment. Your report should be a higher cost as well. And then that's the one we often discount, but we discount it even below again. So, I've got a $150 initial. I was like, yeah, but you haven't charged anyone that. You've charged $49 for the last whatever. And I like, again, if I'm going to do a like discount offer, my initial is currently 140, it'll go to 150 because it's easy to raise the price of your initial because no one knows. It happens at the time. It's not like they're paying it regularly, but then when I discount it, like my referrals from businesses, they get it down to 100. And then if I run a Google ad or when we did Meta, it was 97. So it's still a premium price, it's still above my baseline minimum.
Yeah, like people don't have offers for new patient exams anymore. They've just taken it down to $50 and not realize. Yeah. Okay, then online growth. What are you going to do?
I'm going to
growth in general, I should say.
Geez, don't start me up, brother. I'm going to get in front of as many people as possible in person and online. So I'm going to go meet every business in my area. I'm going to especially if I'm in an area that's in a complex and there's a bunch of people, I'm going to go shake hands, meet everyone, invite them for a coffee. If I can't get to them, I'm going to go to the letterboxes and put a letter into everyone, invite them to come in. I might even do, if I've just opened, a complimentary initial just to show them what I want to do. I'd love to meet you. Maybe we'll do a little opening thing. I will then look at options for things like Chamber of Commerce, BNI, because I do really well in those things. I'll have an Instagram for the clinic, but I will continue, and I should have already built a focus for my own personal brand if it is primary focused as a chiropractor looking after people. And I will be trying to solve the main problems that I like to solve and putting all that content up there. I will be hammering. And some of it may just be like, hey, 3 weeks out from opening, hey, we're going to be opening soon. Learn more about me. This is where we are, me walking down the street. Let people see the area. Let people learn more about the things that we do. Let people come on the journey. But I'm going to build that organic. And then if I need to go fast and I have the finances, I'm going to top that off with paid strategies. So I'm going to have a high get in front of as many people as possible organic online. I'm going to have a simple website that converts as registered. I am going to have a Google My Business and get people reviewing and content and posting on that and responding to reviews. And I'm going to just get in front of as many people as possible. I'm going to DM dive everyone in my niche in the local area and ask to come meet them so I can refer people to them. And I'm just going to say yes and go hard, because the quicker you go hard, the quicker you don't have to go that hard anymore.
Yeah, that's it. I think you just need to get in front of, like with the local businesses, you just got to think of what people want. So if you're going hard on social media, posting, you'll probably build a little audience. And then it's like people want their business on social media as well. So if you just tag, like if you're at the gym, if you're at the cafe, tag the cafe, they're going to reshare it to their followers. Like even if you pick up one or two from each of those, it's just like being the fresh breath of air that shows up in places. That's what you've really got to be. Then referral network, like I noticed you didn't say anything about like GPs or anything like that. Not worth the time.
Oh, listen,
Not
it
yet.
depends what you want to do, right? Like, I think it can be, just ask JD Botras. He'll tell you it's incredibly worth your time. He's very good at it. He is the man for this kind of thing. I think it all depends on who you are. Like, I will hit up usually physio, osteo, myo, remedial, podiatry, acupuncture, everyone through there. If I want, I've gone talks to GPs. I've not focused heavily on GP referral over the years, though I have a number of GPs that refer to me, but that's come from just delivering results. I have quite a number of medical practitioners in the practice, but it was never a push. But it really depends on what you want to do. Like if I had to get going again, I'd just do it all. I did all those things that I've normally done, and I was already moving so fast that going to GP practices wasn't a need for me. But for others, it's an absolute goldmine. So like I also don't have high caps. I like to avoid EPCs. So it's never been so for me. But the physios will tell you, I mean, I had a friend that had 90 new patients pre-referred by GPs when she opened her physio practice. Can it work? Hell yeah, it can work. It's just, do you want to go down that pathway? But the answer is, like, if you're trying to grow, and people hate when I say it, but I'm saying it again, you should do everything and do it consistently and then see what's delivering and put your energy into that. Whereas people seem to try one thing, it doesn't work, and then they sulk for a bit, then maybe they try something else, if at all. There was everyone's probably heard this, and I'm going to say it anyway. Alex Hormozi talked about this recently, and again, we talked early on about how some of his advice doesn't work out here, but this is a good point where he talks about doing the flyers. You've probably heard this one before, where one of his, like when he was doing the gym stuff, one of his mates was like, you need to set out flyers. Flyers have been great. And he pays for like 300 flyers, puts them out, and no one turns up. And the mentor rings him and he's like, Alex says, I was ready. He's had the flyers go. He's like, yeah, I did it. I got 300. I sent them all out, had nothing. He's like, did you test different creatives? How many did you do? Like we usually start with like 10,000 of each and then do like 10 different rounds. And that's where we start getting results. And he's like, oh, I just didn't do the volume. It's all volume. When you're trying to get to yes, when you first start, it's just all volume. And it's usually too hard. Like every associate, every owner, if you go hard, take some breaks in there, but you go hard for 2 years, you can pretty much build a practice where you never have to do the work again because you're so well known, you have such a good referral base that unless you want to start adding associate after associate and you need to start to build them up, after that 2 years is done, it's just cruising from there. And like, especially if your model is like maxing out at 40, mate, might be 6 months of going hard and you're done.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so if we flip it then, so traditionally the one you'd hate is high expense, all the effort goes into the setup, and then none of the effort goes into the outreach. And it's like flip it, put a lot of your time and energy into the outreach, get the basic minimal viable product set up, and then fill that thing. And then over time, what'll happen is you can start to shift it where you upgrade, you get better, you get a bigger space, but you don't have to put as much effort into outreach because you've got the reputation.
I think you're bang on. You will be paid in spades forever for the work you do consistently for a period of time. All right? It's most people, it's just consistency. I mean, it's like everything. Everything that you do well in life, it's because you were consistent. When it comes to your health, business, you got a chiropractic degree because you went to uni for 5 years consistently and passed everything. We know you can be consistent. It's just you don't have exams anymore. I feel like if more chiropractors had like, hey, this sounds terrible. Oh, you're at 35 this week. Hey, 2 weeks for now if you're not averaging over 40. I'm going to cut off a finger. People will be like, well, let's fucking go. I'm going to get outside there, right? We had an exam that you had to study for, but the exam was you need to get 40 average. You'd probably have to do the work. It's like somewhere along the line, we got out of uni and people were like, oh, the work's done. Now the work just started. And now you actually get the highest amount of reward for it. So it's, like we have this real beauty that, like you said before, we could have a really simple space, low overhead, low cost. It's still a premium product because you are the product. Like adding more fancy things into your space doesn't necessarily make the product any more premium.
No.
Like I disagree that like it needs to have these elite setups. If you deliver elite customer service and outcomes, then you can already charge a premium. You don't need every other piece of equipment and fanciness to try and prove your worth. If you can deliver on the promise, it's already a premium product. And so we need to stop trying to prove it with like fancy decals and just prove it with outcomes. But you can't prove it to get people through the door. So that's where the energy has to go.
Yeah. So you've got the product already. You just need to put more effort into getting more people to see the product. That's the underlying thing. I like it. I like it a lot. So it was opposite of heavy, go light, but then go heavy on the outreach, on getting people's eyeballs. And then over time that'll naturally switch. And in terms of stress as well, the stress of having to get to 200 visits a week is a thing. The stress of having to get to 20 a week or 30 a week, not a thing. Like it's so much easier. Timeframes are so much shorter. You can be a lot more flexible. And I just feel and it's. I'm going
to add.
I think
I've got this. I want to make this point, and it's not because I'm anything special here. So everyone knows I opened the practice 2 weeks before we went into hard lockdown with COVID in Perth, right? My first week, we saw, I think it was 29 people on opening, right? So getting to like 20 people is nothing. That was with no ads, nothing more than like some basic organic content and going and messaging and chatting to some businesses in the weeks leading into it. I mean, I wasn't even in the country. I did that before in February. I flew to South Africa for a holiday, came back on the 8th of March, opened on the 11th, and first week, we almost broke 30. Like, it's a nothing stress.
It's a nothing stress, and it's also very achievable. I think people don't believe that you can do it for so little, but that just comes from that mindset of having to have the end one that you just don't need yet. Yeah, nice. All right,
bang on.
I think we made that point. Yeah, cool.
People made it all the way through the arts, just like slagging off like giant high cost practices there. Full power to you. I hope you got the reward, how to get the result, because we were having a bit of fun there for a while.
Yeah, we went on. I think we started a bit thick. Oh, I can't remember what we're talking about now. But anyway, another episode down. Put it in the bag.
Right. I hope everyone's enjoying it.